All right, so without further ado, Michael New.
Hey! Thanks for that great introduction. And thank you all for attending the Men's March. It's great to see so many godly men out there interested in building a culture of life. So here we are in Baltimore, Maryland, and our Catholic bishops are meeting this week. They're going to be making some important decisions about whether elected officials who support legal abortion can obtain Holy Communion. And we are here to offer encouragement to our brother bishops to protect the integrity of the sacrament, as we should. This is not a new issue. Ever since Roe v. Wade, and even probably before Roe v. Wade, there were Catholic elected officials who support legal abortion and who would still present themselves for communion. And for years, many faithful Catholics have urged our bishops to withhold communion from those Catholic elected officials who support legal abortion. But this year, this issue has a lot more salience, because right now, we have a Catholic president who supports legal abortion and who routinely presents himself for communion. And as an aside, President Biden doesn't just support legal abortion, he wants to expand legal abortion. He opposes the Hyde Amendment. He wants your taxpayer dollars and my taxpayer dollars to pay for elective abortions through Medicaid. This is a radical departure from precedent. Even President Obama, who I thought was the most pro-abortion president we've had, never supported anything quite like this. As Father Stephen mentioned, I help organize sidewalk counseling and prayer gatherings outside the DC Planned Parenthood. I can honestly say we always need more volunteers. As men, we have an obligation, a duty to protect the weak and vulnerable. Yes. And in our culture and in our society, there's nobody more weak and more vulnerable than precious unborn children. Yes. And the prayerful presence of sidewalk counselors and prayer warriors outside abortion facilities saves lives. Furthermore, eyes and ears outside abortion facilities are always welcome. This past Saturday, we had an ambulance pull up to the DC Planned Parenthood. We don't know the whole story, but the conduct of Planned Parenthood that morning was atrocious. The pandemics were waiting at the door for 6 whole minutes for the woman to come out. 6 minutes. They were knocking on the door. They were not receiving a response. Again, during a medical emergency, minutes are valuable. Seconds are valuable. But Planned Parenthood did not have this woman ready when the ambulance arrived. Secondly, they had the ambulance come to a side door, not the front door. The side door is narrow. The gurney could not fit through the door. They carted the woman out in a wheelchair, then put her on the gurney, then put her in the ambulance. Again, that did not ensure the best quality of care for this woman. And obviously, we need to pray for her, and we hope that she's okay. However, Planned Parenthood that morning wasn't concerned about that woman. They were concerned about optics, they were concerned about the reputation, but they were not concerned about her, and that just speaks volumes. Now, we as men can't stop all the misconduct, but we can certainly be prayerful witnesses, and we can be there to be a witness when awful things do take place in these abortion facilities. So, last thing I want to talk about, as you know, in about last thing I want to talk about, as you probably know, December 1st, just 16 short days, Supreme Court's going to be hearing oral arguments in Dobbs v. Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. This is a case involving the constitutionality of a Mississippi law that will protect preborn children after 15 weeks gestation. This case is extremely important. This is the first time since Roe v. Wade the Supreme Court has considered an important question. Can preborn children be legally protected after a certain stage of gestation? Supreme Court has considered a whole range of issues pertaining to abortion. They've considered parental involvement, they've considered taxpayer funding, they've considered certain kinds of abortion procedures, they've considered facility regulations. They've never actually looked at the question, can we legally protect preborn children after a certain stage of gestation? Now, there's lots of things we cannot control. Right now, we can't control who's currently on the Supreme Court. We can't control the legal arguments the state of Mississippi will present. And we really can't control what's running around in the minds of any of our Supreme Court justices. But there are several things we can do. We can educate our friends and our peers. Sanctity of life issues are getting a lot more attention. This will be the issue of the next few weeks. We need to highlight this and educate our friends and our peers. We can show support for the pro-life community by attending the many pro-life events taking place. Come to DC. If you can't come to DC, organize something in your hometown. There will be a vigil at the Supreme Court, night of November 30th. 48 for Life is trying to organize a 48-hour prayer vigil in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. If you want to take a time slot, talk to me. There'll be a rally in front of the Supreme Court December 1st, the morning of the oral arguments. Please try to make it. But most importantly, the most important we can do is pray and fast. Prayer and fasting are powerful. We know that from Scripture, there's some demons that can't be cast out except for prayer and fasting. So we got 16 more days. Give it your best effort the next 16 more days. And please, don't be afraid to go outside your comfort zone. Our unborn brothers and sisters deserve nothing less than the very best. The last thing I'll say is show fortitude. Remain steadfast, remain dedicated, regardless of what happens with legislation, regardless of what happens with elections, and regardless of what happens with court decisions. We always need to stay the course. Because I know for sure, if we stay the course, I promise you, victory will someday be ours. Thank you.